Okay, now joining me is a very familiar face to, well, the whole of Pattaya and certainly to PMTV, if I can say it. He is the wonderful William Macy. William, great event again tonight.
It is. I mean, look at everybody. Everybody seems to be enjoying it. There's lots of people here, and they do it beautifully, don't they? And there's a fountain and the big... And Town in Town really do a good job.
Well, we had a quick chat with Nigel, and we came up with it ain't broke, so why change it?
That's right. Yep. And we came here last Christmas, and they had Santa Claus on the... Yeah. I hope he can swim because he was on the water. But they really do put a lot of effort into this, making this a really good day. Yeah. And as you can see, everybody seems to be enjoying it. The food is wonderful. I don't know if you've eaten yet.
I haven't yet.
Well, there will be some left, I can assure you. Sure. But it's just, yeah, they really do a good job.
What always astounds me is that, and I had a quick word before off camera, nobody seems to get stressed about this. You guys seem remarkably relaxed.
Well, with Nigel, it's his 8th one, so it's easy, but I'm in paradise. Why should I get stressed, Paul?
Quite right.
And I see so many people who need help. Why should I get stressed?
Quite right. Okay. So, William, to give us your official title, you're the charity chairman of Pattaya Sports Club.
Indeed.
You have been for a number of years, and you were re-elected, or you stood again this year at the AGM.
Yep.
And it's great work that you do. Give people an idea of what's been going on recently with the Pattaya Sports Club, and perhaps some things that you're looking at that maybe even they can help with in the future.
Well, one thing that's been very pleasing over the last year or so is our joint ventures with other groups. Jesters, which everybody knows, Jesters Care for Kids. We've done quite a lot with them. YWCA, Rotary, of course, and TFI. And working with those, and they're really nice people. And you've interviewed...
Well, I know the TFI guys are good guys.
Yeah, well, we'll move on from there. But you've interviewed Woody many times, and he really is a nice guy, and the people he's got working with him are also very, very nice. Yeah. And that is one very pleasing factor over the last year or so, and most recently. And it really is good to work with them. As far as last year was concerned, I think Peter mentioned it, way over 3 million. But with the generosity of the members during the year, it was close to 4 million baht.
4 million baht.
Really, it's tremendous. It
phenomenal.
Really is phenomenal. Yeah. And the generosity of a lot of people here is wonderful. It really is. Very pleasing. I went out yesterday with one guy. He's not a member of PSC. We saw a charity, and he said, "I tell you what, I'll give you 50,000 baht."
Wow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I can use that. I know where to put that.
Sure.
But there are some very generous people around here.
Well, one of the last interviews that we did was about the slums in Pattaya, and then I was drinking up in Tropical Bar on Khao Noi, which is run by Bert, who runs the British Legion here, and a guy came up to me and he said, "You're doing great work on TV," and he says, "and I seen the interview that you did with the fellow from Pattaya Sports Club," and he asked for your number, which I gave it to him, and I hope he got in touch with you, because he was saying, "Well, I haven't got a lot, but I've got a few thousand I can give," and it all helps, doesn't it?
It does. It doesn't matter if it's 500 baht, and when you think how much rice you can buy for 500 baht, it's something like 25 kilos of rice, which can keep a family of 4 for a whole month. So you don't need to donate thousands of baht. Anything will do. And it not only money, but I get a lot of clothes that are donated. Recently I've had a lot of Thai books. There was a big marquee that somebody donated, which I found a home for. And it's tremendous what people actually donate. And I can get rid of anything. Anything at all. I can get rid of it. And whatever we've got is better than what they have at the moment. It's an improvement on their way of life.
All right. And what about specific projects that you're looking at maybe at the moment things that have came to your attention? Is there anything going on, or have you just been finishing projects off?
No, there's always new things going on, Paul. The most recent ones have been water filtration systems, which Rotary no longer do. So if a school, and both of them are schools, if they have inferior water, which on one particular school we did, and the children were getting upset stomachs, as were the teachers. And when we looked at it, the water was not very good. The filters would pass their sell-by date.
You're talking about the static water filters.
Yeah, the big commercial filters. We installed those on 2 schools, and now these children have good, clean, fresh drinking water, which for children particularly is so important. Their bones and their body are developing. And for you and I, a couple of oldies, it doesn't really matter quite so much. But for young children where their bodies are developing, it's important they have clean drinking water. And we've done that with 2 schools recently, which is great. You go to a school and there's 950 or 1,000 children that you're helping in one fell swoop. And that's a lot.
That's a lot of help.
It's very rewarding. It really is.
I have a confession to you. I've known you for, I would say, probably about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And only today did I think, I wonder if Pattaya Sports Club have got a Facebook page. And I'm so sorry, it was only today that I liked it. So I'll keep up to date. But I noticed, tell us the little story about the golf organisation who raised 120,000 baht.
They have.
And then how that was put to use.
They have. It's called the Growling Swan. And they're in Chayapun. As you go into Chayapun, just on the right-hand side, mainly Australians. And what they do, when they play golf, they penalise various members for trivial things like losing a ball in the water, being late, forgetting something, or whatever. But of course, the cardinal sin is spilling the beer. Right. Australians do not like their beer being spilt. Okay. So that's a hefty fine. Right. Anyway, over the last 2 years that they have been in operation, they have donated 120,000 baht. And what they do, every now and then they ring me and say, William, we got 30,000 baht. What would you like us to do with it? And then depending on what's going on at that time, I ring him and say, well, what do you think about this? Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, I keep knocking your microphone. Yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem. And the last one was to build a small house at an HIV centre in Nong Pru. But previous to that, we've done water filters, sports equipment, and swimming equipment, swimming gear. And they're really great people. Here, give me 30,000 baht, I'll get rid of it. And he say, well, you know I'm halfway to another 30, don't you? Oh my word. Okay, I'll have to find something else. But it's great. It's super.
The story continues, yeah.
Yeah, and long may it continue as well.
Well, William, you know, the dedication that yourself and Nigel and, you know, all the members of the Pattaya Sports Club, you know, obviously, especially the committee, because you're making a huge difference to people here in the community. Yeah. I'm not sure if the viewers actually really grasp what you're doing all the time. When we try to give you the reports, pick up the Pattaya Mail, look at their website as well, look at their Facebook page if you're on Facebook, you'll get an idea. These guys are doing just fabulous work.
And of course, look at your interview, and I thought it was one of the best interviews I've ever seen on television. You did a before and after with a couple of slums over in Tepaset. And I thought, quite frankly, Paul, I know you're here now, but I thought that was one of the best interviews, not just because it was me, but the whole presentation, I thought, really captured the problems that exist in these slums. If you remember the lady, that, you know, with the, unbelievable.
I remember. If you want to look at that, it's on YouTube. Go to PMTV. Yeah. It's called The Other Side of Pattaya. Yeah. You can have a look at it. But you're right, William. I mean, for me, it's a great pleasure to be able to offer the small service that we can. But the reality is that does show the other side of Pattaya. And these people, at the end of the day, I think overall you spent less than 30,000, maybe 26,000 for the whole thing, and that was 3 different families that you helped. I mean, when I think back to when I landed here 10 years ago, 26,000, I was probably spending that in a couple of nights.
Yeah. Well, funny you should say that. We have one at the moment. Family in Tepesit have been there for 60 years. Wow. It's right opposite the Colosseum, down on the left. Yep. And the owner of the land obviously feels, well, it's a great opportunity of making money here. So he's demolished all the houses on that site. Now there's one family. The boy has HIV. The daughter has to go to children with special needs every day. The husband is nearly blind, and an aged lady is a taxi driver, motorway taxi driver. And they've got to leave. They've got no money, nowhere to go. Fortunately, Father A Foundation over Non-Pru has said, well, we have a small plot of land and you can use that. And we're going to build them a house, and it's going to cost about 30,000 baht. Unbelievable. That's, in English terms, about £500. $900, isn't that? $900. Nothing. A home. Be a night out with the wife. That's it. But the money here goes so much further. So if anybody wants to invest, even just a small amount, it can go so far, Paul. Well, you've experienced it. It can go so far. We can do so much with a very small amount.
Okay. All right. We're going to speak to the president of Pattaya Sports Club in a minute, who happens to be a man who's very close to my heart, Peter Malhotra, who's the managing director of Pattaya Mail, but he is the president of Pattaya Sports Club and actually a founding member of the club back in 19 Oatcake. But as William says, it doesn't matter if it's 500 baht or 5,000 baht, you could basically be paying for the 6th of a house for this family. So it doesn't matter. Whatever you can do, you can help. You can help Pattaya Sports Club. Stay tuned and we'll continue here at the Pattaya Sports Club summer party at the Town in Town Hotel. Thank you very much, William.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, we've kept the best to last. It's my friend, my mentor, my brother, Peter Malhotra, who's also the president of the Pattaya Sports Club and, as I said earlier, a founding member all those years ago. Peter, how are you?
Oh, fine, thanks.
Good.
Getting better. I'm glad you got me now.
It's going to be a long night, I think.
I know. Any later than this, I wouldn't be able to talk to you.
Yes, because of the food, and you'd be so full, right?
The warmth of the company and the people here.
The warmth of the company. I'm going to use that one again. Peter, you've had your, you were one of the founding members of Pattaya Sports Club, but you've came back in at this quite late in your sort of career. What do you hope to achieve in the next year?
You want to rephrase that?
Well, you know Pattaya Sports Club because you're on the, I guess it's the executive committee anyway, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because you're a founder.
Well, I'll tell you what. Excuse me.
Because there's a structure here, isn't there, that perhaps people aren't aware of.
Right. Yeah. When the club was first formed, it was just a little club. It was a group of people that got together and formed this. What the name just popped up, Pattaya Sports Club, right? And in those days, some people were playing golf, played darts, bowling. I think those were the main games that we were playing: golf, darts, and bowling. And when the club grew, because of so many expats that were coming to town, and they heard about the Pattaya Sports Club, they wanted to be a member. They joined, and and it became huge.
So when was this, Peter? I mean,
This goes back to late 70s, 79 maybe. It was a long time ago. I was still a young kid.
Yeah, okay.
And then it got so big that some of the more intelligent members of our club thought that it's about time that there was a structure to it. Otherwise, it's gonna burst at the seams and something's gonna go wrong in matters of management, in matters of finances, and all those things involved. And even from the early days, we concentrated on promoting sports, and also to promote and also to give to charities. So it was not a profit organization. Even before it was an organization, everything that we made was given to charities. So when it became an association, a few of the people in town, some of the more mostly Thais and some Farangs who had resident permits and stuff, they became part of this registered committee to form an organization, to form an association rather. And so we formed this association, and then we had a structure to it. And during the formation of the association, we also had what we called a working committee, which is today called the executive committee. And in that committee, we elected a president, a secretary, treasurer, and golf chairman, and charity chairman, and all those people. Huh? And that's how the club operated for the last 30 years or so. I was the president of this club, of the Pattaya Sports Club. I think it was the 1999, 2000, 2001, I forget. As you say, so late in...
Well, no, I didn't mean late in your career. I mean, what I mean is that you're a founding member, and then you came in as a president, and then you sort of bowed out gracefully, and now you came back in. I always think, The Godfather 3, where he says, I tried to get out, but they pulled me back in,
Well,
is that?
They made me a deal I could refuse, more or less. No, there was nothing to it. Actually, I matured. Tell you what, I say this to people and they laugh. But 10 years on, I matured. I mean, in those days, I was probably still young and nervous, and I didn't know how to handle all this. There's such a big organization, 30,000 members, and even today there's 13,000 active members. And can you imagine the turnover? People coming in here and joining the club, and paying their fees for the year, and then going off to play golf or bowling or whatever. So I matured, and as I watched, and I was always on the committee, the registered committee with the government. And therefore, it was almost my responsibility, is my responsibility to make sure that the association runs properly. And as fate may have it, this last election, this last AGM, some smart guy proposed me as a president, and everyone said, yeah, right, yeah. And I wasn't going to say no.
But you're happy to do it, right?
I am. Because
it's your baby, right?
It is, yeah, in a sense. It's a baby of about 32 other members too. But I'm the youngest. Well, I'm one of the very few who are still alive anyway from the founding fathers of this club.
Yeah.
And I thought, yes, it's about time that I came in and just to look at it. Just to look at it and see how this thing's being operated and to help it go forward a little bit more.
Sure.
Because as it grew and grew and grew, people tend to forget how it all was formed.
Yep.
I watched this funny show on Fox, and there's this guy, I forget the name, he goes out on the beaches and on the streets and says, who was George Washington? Why are we celebrating the 4th of July?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't imagine the answers that those kids were giving. They had absolutely no idea of how their country was formed and who their forefathers were.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's not just true for Americans, it's true for so many things, especially when it comes to these national days.
Right.
And people just, they forget exactly what it's all about.
And I'm a traditionalist, and I don't want people to forget who we are and where we came from.
Sure.
Because when it goes another 20 years, 30 years, when everybody's gone, everybody's going to come here to the sports club and have a nice summer party, Christmas party, go out and golf, and they won't remember anymore where this all was about. So every time I get a chance, like earlier this evening, I tell people the history of the club. And I tell them how it all came about. And as you saw, when I asked people to raise their hands, how many have been members for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, I think it ended at about 25. Nobody raised a hand at 30, and I could because I was there.
Okay.
And this is the only reason to see how things are, keep it going, and let's not forget the charity angle. You know, there's millions and millions of baht that have been raised every year through the kindness of the members of the club. They come and join the club and pay 500 baht, 600 baht, just to become a member. But every penny that they give us to join the club goes to charity.
I know.
So
Well, it is phenomenal. We had a chat with William earlier, as we have many times on PMTV, and the work that he is doing under the sort of Pattaya Sports Club banner is just amazing. And the reality is that these people just wouldn't get the help that they desperately need if it wasn't like organizations such as the PSC.
yeah, and the reason that the people that come to join the club, okay, first of all, they know that it's for charity, but that's actually secondary to them. They come join the club because the Pattaya Sports Club has made many deals with golf clubs, bowling alleys, and even businesses, where a member of the Pattaya Sports Club can get a discount with their card. So when they go golfing, they can use the Pattaya Sports Club to get a special discount, which makes their golfing day much, much more cheaper than they would have actually played if they went there on their own. So what we're also trying to do is to give everybody a break. Not everybody comes here as a millionaire in their Learjet and says, okay, I'm going to go golfing. Then they don't need the Pattaya Sports Club. But the Pattaya Sports Club is for the everyday man who comes from any part of the world, comes here, sees an opportunity to join this club and also to get discounts and to get fair play.
Sure. Well, absolutely.
That's a word, fair play.
Totally. But of course, the other good thing is that they get to meet other expats. So there's that, like tonight, one of the terms, because you're obviously very well associated with Rotary, and one of the terms that is always associated with Rotary is fellowship. But tonight there's that here at the Pattaya Sports Club.
That's right. Everybody's friends with everybody. It's as if they've known each other from the last life, really. And if you look at some of them, it's about as if they're from the last life.
Yeah, sure.
But that's the fellowship that the Pattaya Sports Club has. The people who come to Thailand come from all parts of the world. So there's Brits, there's Australians, there's Kiwis, Germans, Austrians, Americans, Norwegians, other Scandinavian countries, from South America, South Africa, and all these. It's from everybody. If you go over there, you look at the people, they're from everywhere. And then there's no restriction, there's no religion, there's no creed, race, kind. Everybody comes in, they become friends, and everybody holds up the card to say, I'm a member of the Pattaya Sports Club. And it's something to be very proud of.
Absolutely. So from what you've seen in your the last, 2 months, I think, since you've been president, everything's sailing on the right course?
Well, me as president?
What did you
expect?
No, but I mean, with Pattaya Sports, is it sticking to the ideals that was set out all those years ago?
Yes. I must commend the people who have been managing the club for the last 20 years or longer. They have done a great job, very strict in their policies, very strict in their ideals, promoting sports and supporting local charities. That's the word. Yeah. That's the motto. Yeah. Promoting sports and supporting local charities. They've been doing that. Everything by the book. Everybody's trying their best to do it. Sacrificing, volunteering, unbelievable amount of time and energy that people have put in it just to keep the club going for the only reason is to get money to go and support local charities.
Well, I said this to William earlier, it's down to people like him and Nigel and the rest of the committee and yourself, and it's a great honour actually that you set this up all those years ago with some other guys who are probably no longer with us, maybe ladies as well.
A few of us, yeah. And the founder was Bill Gilmore, he's somewhere in Florida somewhere. Friends of mine like Dick Caggiano, Mike Franklin, he's passed away. Well, he wasn't there at the founding, but what I meant is Mike Johnston, Bobby Brooks and Dougie Powell, and a few of the old timers some of them are still here. If I missed any names, I apologize. But some of the people are still here, and they're still there.
Plugging away. Right. Well, Peter, it's nice to chat to you, and it's nice to see that Pattaya Sports Club is sticking to what it set out to do all those years ago, despite all the changes in social media, technology, the different nations that are coming to Pattaya. It's still sticking to its roots. Go out, have fun, play a game of golf, bowls, fishing, cricket now as well.
Yeah, cricket too. It's Simon. Yeah.
And help the people that need it.
Sure. And you said something about social media. In the party tonight, did you see anybody pull out their handphone? The sports club members, none. The girlfriends and their wives probably did, but sports club members not. They were there for the old-fashioned fellowship, to sit together and have a drink together and chit-chat. Yeah.
Chit-chat to the fat.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Peter, thanks very much. And we look forward to the Christmas party, which will obviously be coming up later this year. And it's great to know that you're at the helm, continuing to guide the Pattaya Sports Club ship in the right direction.
I'll do that as best as I can for the amount of period that I'm allowed to do.
All right. Okay, this is Peter Malhotra and Paul at the Pattaya Sports Club summer party at the Town in Town Hotel saying goodbye. See you again. Bye-bye. Thank you very much, Peter.